Hello everybody, this is Elizaveta. I'm gonna talk about real estate transactions today. Maybe one video is not gonna be enough because I'd like to discuss everything in detail so you know what expect when you're buying a house or selling a house or refinancing and so on. So I deal a lot with newcomers, and for them, this totally new scary process. They maybe confused on what to expect, when to expect. And so I spend lots of time educating my clients. And I know it's a bit different for those who already lived in Canada and bought a house or sold a house, or uh, even the language, right? It's very complicated and scary for newcomers to buy such a expensive item like a house, right? Um, in a foreign country, but it's their dream. So I see people who come from all over. It could be Israel, Russia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, I don't know, you name it. And their dream is to buy a house. So they don't care about the rates. If they can afford the payment, they buy it. My husband, he is a born Canadian, and he always discusses with me this matter. It's like, how can they just jump into market without thinking what's going to happen next, or the prices are crazy and they're going to fall. And we always have a discussion, and I always tell him, you don't understand. These people come with money. Some don't, but many of my clients do, and all they want to do is to buy a house. And we've developed actually like step-by-step process for them, and my meetings usually take an hour. And I know in some English speaking, let's say, transaction, it can take 15 minutes. Just tell me where to sign and I'm fine. And I go. With my clients, it's a detailed explanation of the whole process and all the papers they sign. So I've developed a lot of patience for a real estate transaction. Anyway, so what happens? How do we get involved? Okay, there is I guess several ways how we can get involved. It's like, let's say you're writing an offer, and for different transactions differently. So we have condominium transaction, we have new construction, and we have just a house that's already owned by somebody, and those processes are different. Today we're going to talk about just buying a house that's been already owned by somebody. Okay, so you're buying a house, and you, let's say, have an agent. Usually people have an agent. So agent can advise you to get a lawyer's approval. Usually it doesn't happen because the agent who knows what they're doing, they're confident, they're just gonna write an offer. They're gonna ask you, do you have a lawyer? And you're gonna say, yes, I do. Then they will put the name of that lawyer in the offer, and your offer goes to that lawyer once all conditions are removed. If you do not have a lawyer, the agent can recommend you the lawyer he or she is working with, because they know how we work. Let's say we have an agent we've been dealing for, I don't know how many years, many, many years, maybe more than 7 or 8 years. And we just open our email and here's an offer again from him. So we like that. And those people are not Russian speaking people. There's all English speaking people, and because the agent doesn't speak Russian, so his clientele is English speaking. So he asks the client if they have a lawyer. If they don't, he recommends us or maybe somebody else. We don't know, but we have a lot of offers from that particular agent. And once we get an offer, so what we do, we send an email or text or we phone a client. We're going to send them it's like an introduction letter, what to expect, what they're gonna have to provide to us, and when they have to provide it to us. And we also provide our prices. So my price Price list is very detailed. I don't like any surprises at any point. So we provide you a breakdown of our legal fees, of all the disbursements and everything, because sometimes when you call a firm, you can ask, oh, how much is a legal fee, and they're going to tell you it's so much, but they don't tell you that there is also some filing fees, courier, fax, I don't know, registration fee, and it's everything that needs to be paid in order to complete the transaction. And then you can end up with a different amount, and the problem is by the time you find out this amount, it's too late to switch the lawyer. So whenever somebody phones me, even on the phone, let's say I don't even have an offer, and ask me for the fee, I will tell them, please give me your email, we'll send you a breakdown. And then once you approve it, then we continue working, because we don't want to be in a situation where we have upset people. So we got that email, we send it to you, you confirm that yes, you want to act, you want us to act on your behalf, and then we explain to you like next steps. We're going to say, okay, so we're asking, are you buying it with a mortgage or are you buying the cash, because it's a little bit different timeline and preparation of documents. And if you say yes, we have a mortgage, then we're going to ask you who is your broker, who is the lender if you're dealing directly with the bank or credit union. Then we'll ask you if you have an insurance agent, because we need to have a home insurance. We're never going to get funds from the bank if we don't have insurance in place. And then we're going to ask if you're going on title with your spouse, or is it your parent, or is it your boyfriend or just friend? What's your arrangement? How do you want to go on title? It's very important to find out whether you're going to go as a joint tenant. We'll discuss that later, all those details. So we need to understand your situation. So we go a little bit further and we say, okay, is this your first and only marriage? Let's say if it's a married couple. It's very important, because if we register it certain way at the time of death, there could be complication with your estate matters and so on. So we'll look a little bit ahead. So then we get from you information what we need, and we basically cannot do much until we have mortgage instructions. It's when the bank sends us documents, which we have to rely on to draft all the documents. But meanwhile, we can do searches. We search if there is a water paid, we search for the title, we search for the taxes, we search for the permits, we see what's happening with this property, and we prepare our file. And as soon as mortgage instructions arrive, and they arrive, we can discuss that later too. There's certain programs that we have that banks send us instructions through, and then as soon as we have it, we will prepare all your mortgage documents and calculate for you how much money you need to bring for us to close the deal. So this is the big, like the first step basically. And also when people tell me that we calculated with a percentage, or we gave so much down payment and on and on and on, I cannot comment how much you need to bring, because I have to see how much money the lender is going to send us, because they have different insurance, different fees that they deduct from mortgage. Let's say you took 300,000, but we're going to get 275 or whatever, right? So I can't give you the numbers, any numbers, until I see what I'm going to get as a lawyer on your file. So once that's done, we send you all our documents by email for your review. And there are tons of documents. If you don't want to review them, I know it's overwhelming for people. You don't have to do it. The only thing we ask to check is the dates, numbers, spelling of the name. Because when you come to our office, we're going to explain you everything else. So some people, and I know with my clients, they love to have this luxury to read it, at home, so they're not rushed. They actually know what they're signing. When they come to my office, they already know the documents. They already have questions maybe for certain documents, and then I can explain to them. So sometimes we can go over on the phone. Sometimes people come and just ask me here, and we clear all their concerns. So you sign the documents, then, and you brought us the money that we requested, and it has to be a bank draft. So you cannot bring a regular check because it's going to be on hold, and we cannot, even drafts right now are put on hold. So, but because we deal a lot with our bank, so we have developed its, I would say, history with the bank, that if I can say to my bank, please don't put on hold because I know this is my client, or we've checked the source, or this is my returning client, and we believe everything should be fine. And plus, it's not just a check, it's a bank draft. They will release them the hold, and we can use this money right away. So you will have to bring us that draft, and then you just have to wait until we have the key, and when we're in a position to release that key to you for the use on a possession date. So you cannot go early. Even if you get a key earlier, don't get too excited. You can go early because it's not allowed. Anyway, so we get that funds, and we signed all the paperwork with you. So the next step for us is to send all the paperwork to the bank and request the funds, and the money comes to our trust account. Okay, it could be wired, it could be direct deposit, or we sometimes with the local banks or credit unions mostly have to go and pick it up. We have to pick up their draft. So we request for funds. We send a trust letter to another lawyer. We'll have a video on the trust letter, what it is, and then they send us their trust letter and the key and their paperwork. So we exchange these documents, and we review it, and they say, okay, all good. We say, all good. We close the deal. I phone you or email you, say, okay, you can come for the key, and we arrange the time convenient for you. Okay. Once the possession date comes, you move in, or go just to check, and you can move in later, but you have to go and check your property. And I'm sure real estate agents tell you. Some real estate agents even come with you to check everything is in order. And we submit the documents to registration at land titles office, and you're already living there. The documents in the process of being transferred from the vendor to you, and we're just waiting. We're waiting, and depending on the season, if it's a busy season, that takes longer. If it's not, it's 2-3 days. In the winter, it could be 2-3 days, and the documents are done. We get the documents showing that you are now the owner of the property, and we then proceed with the report to you. So before everything became electronic, we used to have a very pretty, I would say, like long titles, and sometimes we even have very, very old titles, like they're so unique that you would like just to keep it one for, I don't know, for your collection of titles, but it's a different story. Anyway, so these titles these days, they come by email. So we're connected with TerraNet Manitoba online. We have an account. This is how we submit everything through internet to them. And when it's all done, we get it by email. So you're not going to receive anything special confirming your ownership, and it's just like a regular paper, black and white. And so we do a report, and that's basically it. And then we'll do a report to the bank that we registered them. The only thing is that will come later to you is confirmation that if there was a mortgage on title from a previous owner, it takes time to be removed, to be discharged. And sometimes it can take a couple months. Sometimes banks forget and don't send it, or different situation happens. It can take longer. We had situations when we had to continuously ask the bank that we need that discharge, and so on and so on. So because it's a huge amount of work happens in those banks, right? So that can happen. But as long as the lawyer paid the mortgage, the lawyer representing the vendor, and that discharge will be provided. So basically, let's say maybe in a couple months or earlier, you're going to get from us another email with confirmation that the vendor's mortgage has been discharged. We do not remove it's my policy, we do not remove our files from the office to the storage until discharge is done and clear title, we call it clear title, is provided to you. So because we don't want to forget, we don't want to have any situation that would jeopardize somehow your ownership. Anyway, this is our system. I keep them in a filing cabinet, and we also have a follow-up system that we need to follow up in whatever certain time with another lawyer if we didn't receive that clear title. That's all I think about a purchase. Sounds very simple. So what we like to people understand, maybe from this video, so it's the time frame doesn't depend on the lawyer. I think it's more like when you're going to see a lawyer, it all depends on actually the bank when they're going to send those instructions. And we usually, like, let's say today we today got instructions, and we're meeting with clients tomorrow, even though possession will be a little bit further in the month. But we need also accommodate our clients with their work schedule. We do evenings, Saturdays, Sundays. We can do remote signing, but we prefer to meet in person when it's possible. Sometimes people are traveling. They give us an advance a warning that they're not going to be that certain week in Winnipeg. So what we do, we harass the lender saying, please send us mortgage instructions sooner so we can do it all in advance. So because we serve a lot of truck drivers, and they are always away because of their work. And that is why we also accommodate with the weekends, because if they come on a weekend, I don't want to say, sorry, you can't sign because I am cooking or whatever. No, I'll come to work and I'll sign with you, because I understand how it's important, and I understand that you don't want to miss your trip back to the States or wherever you're traveling on the truck, right? So we accommodate. But that information is very important for us to know, that if you're going to be away for business or you're going to be whatever, vacation, doesn't matter. The reason is not important for us. We just need to know, are you here to sign it? And people right now don't think about it, because when you sign your offer, you can sign it with a DocuSign or maybe even Adobe Sign. I'm not sure with Adobe, but DocuSign for sure, right? And they have the impression that everything else can be signed this way, and that's not true. We, because of the COVID, we do have an ability to sign stuff remotely. And the only problem with this remote signing is the original still have to be delivered to the lawyer's office. Let's say I have client in England, and they're buying a property, and let's say they're my old client. I know who they are. I don't have to worry about identifying them. There's different rules for that. We can discuss it later. But I had that situation. I had clients in Israel, and they're my clients for a long time, so I don't have to identify them. And they're buying a property, and they need to sign it there because they're not arriving on time. So what they will have to do, I have to prepare documents. And then because it's remote signing, I have to do certain different phrases I have to put into the documents, and I have to email it to them, so they'll have to print. And when it's in different countries, the different paper sizes, and people don't print it right. So I don't like it, but we do try to accommodate. We put everything in PDF, so when they print it, it's all going to be printed correctly. But even then, sometimes it's not. And then we sign it remotely through the camera, and then they have to carry it to me, because when it comes to me, then I have to sign to state when I saw it, and I have to do a special document explaining how it was signed and so on. So there's still this time frame, because if it's coming from a different country, it could take for a while. And we usually send it, or demand the clients to send it by like UPS, FedEx, DHL, because regular post is not going to work for that. There's not enough time for that. Plus, if it's get lost, it's like going to be a nightmare. So these things that we have to keep in mind, right? So that's why we ask so many questions. It's not because we are curious or whatever. It's because we can make a plan how we're going to make sure that your deal is closed on time, that you're going to get keys, and everybody will be happy. So I hope this video going to help new buyers to understand the process of purchasing. And I'm gonna do a series of details of the offer, of trust conditions, and how trust conditions are very important for the lawyers. Like, there'll be many more interesting videos on real estate. So please sign up, invite your friends. Right now we have 245 or maybe 250, 249, I think, videos in Russian. You can put, I think, English subtitles, and find more if you're interested. But my goal for this year is to create educational videos for you. So let me know if you find this useful, and I'm sure you will. And follow us. That's all I want to say. Thank you.